Well, hello everyone. Today, I wanted to focus specifically on what's going to happen with this Saturn going retrograde. And as many of you know, Saturn started its retrograde motion on June 4th, 2022, and it's going backward currently in the sign of Aquarius. But it's going to be going backwards into the sign of Capricorn. So there's going to be a revisit of the past. So that's what I want to make everybody aware of, is I want everyone to think about what's been going on in your life the last 2.5 years and really think about that, reflect on it, because there's going to be a revisit. It's almost like we're taking a time machine back to 2020, and there's going to be a replay of some events that happened in the global landscape, but also your personal life. Okay. So obviously we know that, in the last 2.5 years, there was a global pandemic. There was, we had a lot of different troubles. There was a war that started in Ukraine. And now we're even having this economic issues that are popping up. For example, we have the high inflation that seems to not be going away. It's still at about 8.5%. But what I want you guys to know is, with this Saturn going back into Capricorn, specifically on July 12th, it's going to enter the sign of Capricorn. It's going to stay there all the way till the end of the year. So it's going to be the rest of 2022 that we're going to be doing this revisit of the past. So this is a significant amount of time. I mean, 6 months is not necessarily a flash in a pan, but the power that we have is we can respond differently. So even if you have similar issues popping up in your life from the last 2.5 years, you're going to be able to respond differently. What have you learned? How can you respond? How can you keep your vibration high? That's really what I'm talking about. I have a little presentation for you guys, so let's put that on. So if you guys are new to my channel, please like and subscribe. My goal right now is 10,000 subscribers. I'm at 1183, I believe, but we've done a lot. A year ago, I was at 600 subscribers, so we pretty much almost doubled the channel. Really cool, thank you guys. But now I want to get the 10,000 subscribers, so let's go there. Also, if you guys are interested in your own personal private reading, because really that's the most important, thing to look at, is what's going on in your own life. 40% off all readings if you use codename Thor, if you guys are interested in purchasing a reading from my website. So check that out. So please like and subscribe. All right, guys. So this is what we're going to talk about. Also, I'm going to show you guys the chart of the present moment so you guys can get a visual representation of what's happening. Like where's Saturn right now as of June 12th? And where is it going to be on July 12th and for the rest of the year? Because that's going to be important to look at. So I'm going to give you guys the chart to look at as well. But the most important thing that we got to think about with this is that there's going to be a return to the past. Okay, Saturn's going retrograde into Capricorn on July 12th, 2022. Like I said, guys, it's going to be there all the way till January 2023. Think about what has happened in the last 2.5 years in your life. There's going to be a revisit to any unresolved issues. You are being given the chance to respond differently to a given situation. On a global level, we can respond differently. So if there's certain things we didn't like about the last 2.5 years, there can be a different response this time. It doesn't have to be like last time. Okay, so I want everyone to be aware of that. Let's go take a look at the chart. So currently, guys, as of June 12th, right now, Saturn is in the sign of Aquarius, and this is the sign of this symbol. There is the Saturn symbol. And if you notice, it's already retrograde. It's got the RX symbol next to it. It's already retrograde because it went retrograde June 4th. So that means Saturn, oops, I should make the little rings of Saturn right here. Saturn is going to be going this direction right now. It's going backwards in the chart. And I have a South Indian chart that we're using, so that's why it's square looking, if you guys are curious. Saturn is going to be in the sign of Capricorn on July 12th. So that's going to be an important date to reflect on. And This is why I'm talking about this crisis, this event. We can all feel it in the collective consciousness. Definitely. We're already kind of in this lead up to this event. I want you guys to really search your feelings, search how you feel, but we're really in the lead up. There's food prices are really out of control. Let me shut my window here, guys. So the food prices are already getting out of control. You know, almost 10% for some of the food prices. And then we already have the oil prices, the gas prices, and it's kind of like we're at this inflection point of like something's got to give at some point. You know, it could be the economy. I would recommend investing very conservatively in the economy right now because there could be a financial crisis. This could manifest as a financial crisis. So I want you guys to be aware of that. Remember when the pandemic first started back in March of 2020, Saturn was already in Capricorn. Remember we had that really big drop in the stock market. It was March or April of 2020, and they had to go in with the plunge protection team and basically save it from completely imploding. But there may be a revisit to that. And I'm sure, you know, if there's a return of a pandemic, I'm definitely looking at the monkeypox situation. There's a possibility there could be something with that. We're keeping an eye on it. But also I want you to be aware of, that's why I titled this video Crisis. I see it as a crisis. There's going to be some restrictions. It could be an economic meltdown because we're really seeing the dissolving of the old 3D Age of Pisces system. And I've talked about that in previous videos. Let me go back to the presentation. So I want to remind you guys that currently we're in this bifurcation of time. And if you guys have read Dolores Cannon's work, Convoluted Universe, she wrote, I believe, 3 books. There's this idea that we're in this basically energetic bifurcation of time right now. And so I wanted to spend some time explaining this because this has everything to do with Saturn being retrograde. Even though you might be going, what the heck does that have to do? It has everything to do with Saturn, okay? Saturn rules the lower 3 chakras in your body, okay? So Saturn is all about fear. So whatever's going on when Saturn's in Capricorn, second half of 2022, it's going to involve fear and taking you to a place of fear. Well, look at these timelines. We got the 3D versus the 5D. We got the descending hub, which is the fear frequency. And we got the ascending hub, which is love, peace, kindness, keeping your vibration high, okay? There's going to be people living on 2 different timelines. I want you to be aware of that. There's going to be almost 2 simultaneous timelines running during this time. So in 2020, we had a bifurcation of time. In 2022, we're being presented another bifurcation point. So this is going to be a moment where you're going to be presented with choices. And how do you respond to these choices? Do you choose fear or faith? Saturn is the Karaka. In Sanskrit, Karaka means like it represents something. So Saturn is the Karaka of fear, heavy karma, static, unchanging situations, exploitation, hierarchical structures of control. Remember, guys, Saturn is concerned with the masses, the collective. It is the Karaka of communism. Everyone is the same, a cog in the system. The Borg collective, worker bees, no uniqueness allowed, conformity, kind of that cookie cutter conformity. So I want you guys to be aware that there's going to be this choice between like this individual rights, the individual, like if you watch something like Star Trek, you know, Starfleet with Captain Picard was representing the individual uniqueness. And what did the Borg represent? They represented something like you lose your uniqueness and you become part of this hive mind collective. Well, that's essentially what's happening with this bifurcation of time, okay? So this lower fear narrative is really putting us into this, they want us to lose our individuality and your specialness and your uniqueness, because you all are divine, positive creators. You all are wonderful creators, and you guys have a wonderful destiny in front of you. Corporations are really a good example of Saturn, and governments. Okay, so anywhere where you guys have anywhere where there's going to be like a pyramid hierarchy represents Saturn. Okay, and remember, Capricorn is the 10th house in the zodiac. 10th house represents institutions, government structures. So we're likely to see a lot of government restrictions coming in. Starting in July, I believe we're going to start seeing a series of events, and maybe culminating in August when we have the Uranus-Mars-Rahu conjunction in Aries. We might even have some events that happen that are leading to this age of restrictions for the second half of 2022. But I want you to know, again, there's going to be choices on how do you respond to this. A lot of light workers are talking about this. For example, I just was watching a Infinite Waters channel, very, very positive channel. I love that. And that's the type of thing we have to do during this time, really keep our vibrations high. So what we're really talking about when we're talking about ascension, or we're talking about the 3D timeline versus the 5D timeline, I want you guys to be aware this all has to do with the chakra system. Okay, the planets also correspond to different chakras. So Saturn's going to represent your root chakra. It's going to represent that survival instinct, the fear. So the lower three chakras, when we're talking about the root chakra, the sacral chakra, and the solar plexus chakra, those are going to represent your 3D fear timeline. The upper three, well, there's upper four, but we're going to talk about the heart chakra, the throat chakra, and the third eye chakra, really represent that higher vibration 5D timeline. So what we're being called to do is not respond in the same way. Are you going to respond in fear? Or are you going to respond from the higher level chakras, which is from the heart, from the throat chakra, using your voice, being heard, saying what you got to say, whether in the public or within your families, within your friendship groups? That's using your throat chakra. So you have the right to be heard. You have the right to have a voice. Using your third eye chakra, being able to use your intuition, that's going to be how you respond. You don't respond in fear. We want to respond in love. How do we do this? How do we get through this situation together? How do we come together as a community in unity versus survival, every man for himself survival consciousness? We don't want to be in survival consciousness where everybody's part of the wheel of karma and the rat race anymore. This is all about shifting. We're shifting timelines here to an Aquarian timeline where everyone's more unified. There's this togetherness that we're talking about. So July 12th is going to be the important date to remember, guys. July 12th, and it's going to be all the way till January 23. Month of July, that's when we could start seeing some events. It could be sooner, for example, and I'll take you guys to the charts. July 12th is going to be an important date to look at, the whole month of July. But also what's going to be important to look at, and I'm going to show you guys the chart here. Let me clean this up. An important also event date is going to be June 26th or June 27th. Mars is going to be entering the sign of Aries. We could see some changes around that time. So the end of June also is a potential timeline change. So end of June when Mars changes signs, and then July 12th, we're going to have Saturn going and changing signs as well. So this is going to be a change of karma. Anytime you guys see the planets change signs, either collectively or individually, that's going to represent a shift of karma. So each house represents a field of experience. Okay. And each planet represents a consciousness. Okay. So when we're talking about Mars, Mars represents the consciousness of competition, aggression, war. But it's positive too. Remember, there's negative and positive polarities to each planet. So Mars can represent becoming a very disciplined guru or yogi and doing yoga every day. Mars isn't a bad planet, but Mars can also be on the negative polarity, could represent somebody who's a criminal, who doesn't care about the law and things like that. So each planet has its own polarities. Remember that. It's what is your level of consciousness with that planetary energy is what we're talking. What is the most important thing to think about? All right, let's go share again. So also, guys, August 2nd, I've been telling you guys previously, August 2nd is going to be another important date. So July 12th, we got a few dates, guys. We got June 27th, we got July 12th, and August 2nd. So this summer, we're probably going to be seeing a domino series of events that's going to lead to these restrictions that were coming in. There's going to be some sort of crisis, okay? And it's going to have this feeling of we're repeating something. So it's going to have this familiar vibe of like, oh, this again. You guys ever had those moments where something's repeating? Maybe there's this karmic obstacle in your life and you're like, oh, why is this repeating again? Maybe it's some old like relationship pattern you're in, or maybe it's some like work life pattern you're in or something. Well, that's going to be on a collective level. It's going to be kind of like a, oh, this again. It might have a slightly different flavor. It might be because of something different, but it's going to have the same collective response of Saturn in the 10th house of Capricorn, of like these restrictions coming on. Maybe freedom of movement is being restricted in some sort of way, or there's some sort of restrictions even within the financial systems or something going on. But there's a feeling of like restriction. That's the biggest thing. So it's going to have a familiar vibe. I do feel like the collective consciousness is going to respond differently because it's only going to be retrograde in Capricorn. It's only going to be in Capricorn for 6 months. So I don't feel like it's going to last a very long time this time, like the 2 years previously. I think people are going to respond a lot differently this time. So let's go back to the presentation. So that's what I wanted to really focus on with you guys today. I want you guys to feel really positive and full of hope, because what I'm saying is we got to operate from the higher chakras, the heart chakra, the throat chakra, the third eye chakra, the crown chakra. Okay, we don't want to get stuck in those lower chakras of fear vibration, the 3D timeline. The 3D timeline, guys, is the wheel of karma. So I really want to talk about that for a moment. The 3D timeline is the wheel of karma. You guys might have heard it or read it in different places where it talks about in the Old Testament, it talks about an eye for an eye and a tooth for a tooth. That is the wheel of karma. Okay, so for example, one country attacks another country and then the other country attacks back. That's all about, that's karmic cycles that people get into. Okay, it's tit for tat, eye for an eye, tooth for a tooth. That is really an old age that we're trying to get out of, guys. That old age of just tit for tat, everybody's competing for survival. That is the old age. That's the old system that we're watching dissolve right now, the competition system. It's all about getting into this new age of consciousness, this consciousness of compassion, this consciousness of empathy, of caring about your fellow people, your fellow brothers and sisters out there. It's all about compassion, empathy, sharing, realizing we have a universal abundance, and getting out of the fear narrative, which a lot of negative entities and a lot of negative groups want to sponsor the fear narrative because certain people have things to gain through the fear narrative. Okay, but that is going to be dissolving. So you might see a little bit of clown world, seeming like clown world, especially if you're being very high vibe and you're kind of watching what's going out in the world. You might see like, this seems really weird. Why are people acting so weird? Why are they acting so strange? So that's where we want to talk about, guys. Are you going to succumb to fear and the narrative scarcity? Or do you keep your vibration high in the face of adversity? The way to respond, as I said earlier, guys, is through your higher chakras. That's going to be love, peace, calmness, faith, compassion. And that's what all of the ancient rishis, the gurus, all of our teachers from the past teach us about. Fear, anger, war, aggression are part of the descending hub. Remember I showed you guys the bifurcation of time, the timelines. Okay, we don't want to be on that old timeline. The fear, anger, war, aggression, part of the descending hub of Earth, the wheel of karma. We're trying to get off of the wheel of karma. So next, I want to talk about how do you keep your vibe high during this time, because there is going to be a return of fear. That's really what's coming back, guys. It's more of this fear vibration more than anything. The outer world is just going to be a reflection of your inner world. So I want you to be really aware of that. You can choose to stay high vibe, even if the situation the news might be presenting to you a dire situation. Maybe there's food shortages or something going on. But remember, staying in a high vibration is the way to get out of that fear, getting out of that fear karma. We don't want to be in the fear karma. So that's why I'm making this video. I'm kind of like reaching out to you as viewers, and I'm saying, here, let's go on this higher timeline together. Let's like go into this unity consciousness, this abundance consciousness. That's where I want us all to be. So let's go to this. Keeping your vibe high, guys. It's not as easy as I was about to say. It's easy, not really that easy. I mean, you gotta kind of be disciplined when you're keeping your vibration high. You gotta meditate on a daily basis, go out into nature, read holy books, chant mantras like Om Namah Shivaya, listen to uplifting music, watch uplifting content, learn about spirituality, pray and make affirmations, give gratitude. So it's all about, what are you putting into your mind? Think about that. A lot of people will watch violent content or things like that, and they don't realize the old axiom of GIGO, garbage in, garbage out. So you have to be careful about what you consume. What kind of content are you consuming? Are you consuming content that's putting you in a low fear state or an anger state? Or are you consuming content that's putting you in a joy state, in a peaceful state, in a state of faith where you believe in the goodness of things, you believe in the goodness of people, empathy and compassion? Now, does it mean that you need to meditate all day? Of course not. But what I am inviting and imploring people to do with keeping their vibrations high is, one of the reasons why you want to keep your vibration high is it feels good. It feels good to have a high vibration. It doesn't feel good to be fearful, full of anxiety, and at those lower 3 survival chakras. That doesn't feel good at all. So a lot of our teachers have told us it's good to stay in a high vibration because of the joy. And then you're also attracting things into your experience. You're attracting positive experiences just through positive thinking and keeping your vibe high. So I really wanted to talk about that and let you guys know that this last 6 months, I do feel like it's going to be rough. In the outer world, we might see things on the news. We might see, we might see problems manifesting. Oops. Sorry, guys. Hold on. I'm trying to navigate on Zoom here. We might see some crazy things in our outer reality, but remember, really the goal is just like our enlightened teachers had showed us. For example, Gautama Buddha or any of the other of the ascended masters, Jesus, what did they teach us? They said the way to heaven is through your inner world, okay? You don't need to wait for some imaginary future. You can get to that state of consciousness, which we consider heaven. You can do it now. You can do it by raising your vibration. And maybe there's some things you need to heal in your life, and that's fine. We're all on this journey together. We're all through this healing phase. I'm going to go see if there's any questions at this time. So Seeker's here, Ioli Dees is here, Devika's here. So Seeker says, hi all, I'm late, that's okay. Exactly how I'm feeling, something has to give. Feel like it's smoke screens though. Yeah, I feel like something has to give at some point. Devika's talking about unity consciousness, already feels like a circus, Seeker. And then Devika says, and keep company with the wise or positive company. Satsang, this is a satsang here, gathering of positive, like-minded people on this channel. Absolutely. So that's where you want to go. So anywhere where people are discussing positive things, or we're talking about spirituality, keeping your vibration high, it really is a form of satsang, So what I hope to do with my YouTube channel, you as viewers, and also on my TikTok channel, if you guys are interested, I also have a TikTok channel, is, developing a community, because your vibe attracts your tribe. So, really it's about a community of togetherness, of spirituality. During these times, you have to find like-minded people to vibrate with. And it keeps you on that path of feeling good, feeling joyful, feeling blissful, and that's where we all want to be. Thank you guys for being here. And I want to thank you. Please comment if you guys have in opinion. Comment down below. Let me know what you think. Let me know what your prophecies are. Maybe some of you guys have visions and prophecies. Make comments on those. Thank you guys for being here, and I will be making another video very shortly, and I will see you guys soon. Until then, take care.